Good evening, and welcome to the January 16th, 2025 meeting of the City of Santa Cruz Planning Commission. And we will start with a roll call.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Paul Hamus?
Here.
McKelvey?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Gordon?
Here.
Dan?
Here.
Chair Conway?
Here. Okay, and do we have any statements of disqualification this evening? Seeing none, we will move on to oral communications. There are no members of the public here this evening, so we won't have oral communications. I would like to say that the approval of the minutes for December 19th, 2024 will be included in the next agenda packet, so we will not be approving those tonight. Okay, so moving on to the general business. The first item is 877 Cedar Street, Unit 1. It's a general plan conformance determination to determine if the location, purpose, and extent of the proposed acquisition of the property is in conformance with the general plan. And do we have a staff report?
Yeah, I mean, all the information is basically in the staff report. The city's looking for, or has need for additional office space for its workforce. There happened to be an office condominium unit about a block and a half from here that was previously occupied by finance. The city was able to negotiate a rate well below asking for the property, and feels that it being a LEED Gold building and proximate to City Hall, it's a good decision to purchase it to fit our needs at this time. It also then becomes an asset that the city can have that'll appreciate in value over time potentially, and rather than throwing away rent on another similar space for our staff. Looking at the finding of general plan conformance from the Planning Commission is required per the Government Code 65402. Typically, it's rolled into larger project sort of approvals or entitlements, as you can see with the library and other projects. But in this case, it's a standalone. So for you to show that the office suite is as it's built, essentially an existing office that was renovated in around 2010. And originally built in the 1960s, and that government buildings are principally permitted use in the Cedar Street district downtown, and that, looks like my little star moved. It's supposed to be in the red. Yeah, so it's in the red, which is regional visitor commercial, which then again defers to the downtown plan for its permitted uses. Any questions?
Is it known what department is moving over there, or is that still to be determined?
It's still to be determined. The city is in a process of space evaluation. So they have a consultant on board that's conferring with the various departments, work teams, figuring out who would potentially move in, and then if they are occupying current space, how that might be repurposed. So it's a little bit of a Tetris game of playing with staff. But hopefully, shortly after acquisition, we will have a definite plan this spring.
Okay, any other questions? I have one. Are there any additional TIs or other investment that the city will be making?
Not at this time. Right now it's fully fitted out, and it already has the IT infrastructure, being that finance was in there. Just updated equipment and things like that, but we don't expect any TIs at the moment.
Okay, good. Any further questions? Is it anyone willing to make a motion?
I'll move approval.
I'll second it. I just have one quick thing to say.
Okay.
I currently work at Cruz co-working, and it's so fun to see city folks going back and forth. And just to say it, my first job in this town was Santa Cruz Sentinel paperboy, and I used to pick up my paycheck there. And I've heard the slab still has ink deeply embedded in it. So I love the fact that the city has taken that on.
That's funny, yeah.
I can still smell like my fingers used to smell like ink, I don't know if anyone else was a paper boy.
Yeah.
That's real journalism.
Ages you a little bit to be able to say you're a paper boy, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I was there.
Beyond that, yeah, good.
That's hilarious, yeah. We actually had a conversation earlier with Cruz, who was really excited that we might be moving in there, and they were like please share our co-working space and our coffee shop.
And good coffee.
You know,
Yeah.
we want more people to hang out with, so.
Dude, the
Good.
internet is super fast over there. So.
Perfect.
Okay, on that note, we have a motion and a second. If there's no other comments, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? With that, the motion carries. Thank you very much for the report.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, the next item on tonight's agenda is the nomination and election of the 2025 Planning Commission Chair and Vice Chair. So we'll do this one at a time, starting with the chair and then the vice chair. And the first thing that we do is open the floor to nominations for chair.
I would like to thank our current chair for her service, first of all. You've been a great, excellent chair.
Thank you.
Running meetings and managing the agenda and public comment. So thank you, first of all. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Polhamos as chair. I think that needs a
It
second.
does need a second, yeah.
I second that.
Okay. All right, and,
Remind me, do we get all the nominations out? or is
yeah,
it
we get all the
one by one?
nominations. If, are there any other nominations for chair?
There, I have one. I also appreciate your service, thank you. And I'd like to nominate Commissioner Dan as chair, if she'd be willing.
I'd be happy to be vice chair, but I feel that Commissioner Polhamos is, I appreciate that. So I don't want to step on your toes. You've been a great vice chair, so if you're willing to serve,
I am.
Okay. There is a long-standing tradition with the Planning Commission that the vice chair steps into the chair role, and however, it is not mandatory.
I'd just like to comment that there is a very young baby in Mike's house.
Yes.
If you'd like to step away, I would understand that.
Yeah, if Commissioner Dan wants to be vice chair, I would feel that we'd be in great hands if I ever had to miss.
Okay, well, we're a little out of order on that nomination, so we'll process this one first. In that case, I think we can take a voice vote. First of all, I have to close the nominations. And I need a motion to close the nominations.
I'll move to close the nominations.
And is there a second?
second that.
I am following along with the rules, and even still, I missed it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. Okay. So it's been moved and seconded, and we will proceed to the election. And we have one nomination on the floor, so let's, all those in favor of Commissioner Polhamos stepping into the role as chair indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. Congratulations. You're going to do a great job.
Big shoes to fill.
Okay, with that, we'll have the same process. I will open the floor to nominations for vice chair.
It'd be my honor to nominate Commissioner Dan to be vice chair.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, I'd hear a chair to close the nominations.
Move to close the nominations.
Second.
All those in favor of closing the nominations indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions. With that, we will consider the election of Commissioner Dan for vice chair for 2025. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions. Congratulations. Set for the year. Okay, and then there's another item that I was a little surprised to see. That was very nice.
We'll take over that item. This item is the recognition of Chair Conway's service And I have to say, we had this nice certificate put together that recognized Chair Conway's 8 years of service over the last 2. And turns out that predates my time here, and you were nominated. You have gone more than the typical 2 terms, and you were
took over an empty seat.
a partial term prior to that. So it's actually 10 years of service that we are recognizing. But I have some stats here that I would like to share that are just based on 8 years. So everyone listening and out in the community can know that it's actually even more than that, and we will get your certificate updated. So I will read this. It's the certificate of recognition for Julie Conway, and whereas Julie served as a dedicated commissioner on the Planning Commission from, it says 2017 to 2025. We'll revise that. During which time, just those 8 years, the commission held 124 meetings, whereas Julie served as the chair of the Planning Commission for 2 years, 2018 and 2024 to 25. And during her tenure, the commission considered nearly 100 different development projects, including over 1,500 new homes. And that was over the course of 120 different agenda items. We had some of those projects come back more than once.
Yes, we did.
And we considered with the commission nearly 40 different policy issues over the course of nearly 100 agenda items. And Julie's contributions over the past 8 years to the city's most important land use issues, such as, I'll take you down memory lane a little bit right here, short-term rentals, and the downtown recovery plan update, the height increases south of Cathcart and south of Soquel, the cannabis ordinance, the inclusionary housing changes, several of those, building decarbonization, the downtown expansion plan has been before this commission, the corridors plan, a lot of those in your early days, objective standards for multifamily housing, the rail trail, and the 6th cycle housing element, to name a few. And Julie will leave lasting positive benefits to the Santa Cruz community through her work on those. So you have consistently exemplified outstanding service through your commitment to public service, your dedication to the city of Santa Cruz, and your invaluable contributions to the technical expertise and success of the Planning Commission. And we appreciate all of the time that you have spent here with us.
Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I would like to say I have really appreciated working with so many commissioners over the years, and with staff who just dedicated professionalism and skill and knowledge and patience. And I continue to believe that we can both protect our precious open space and meet our housing need in this community, not without tall buildings here and there. But I know we can do it, and I wish you all luck in an environment where we have less local control than we used to. It's challenging, but thank you all. It's really nice.
I have a quick comment. So one of the other honors of service is if everyone wants to roll back and open your drawer. Inside these drawers, like to share with the public, it's not a smoky backroom deal. Many people have signed their name inside the drawers.
Okay.
So
Your
I'd
dad
like
in there?
everyone to just take a look. My dad is in here more than once. And his quote, which I think is in your drawer, is Winston Churchill, "In war, you can only die one death. And in politics, you can die many, many times."
That is in fact great.
So Julie, it's Winston Churchill. I'd like to congratulate you on your hopefully last political test.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. That's really cool. I don't know why I never noticed that
Well,
before.
feel free to
Okay, I certainly will.
leave your mark.
Some old names.
Really, I know.
Yeah, that goes back.
Ed Porter.
Yeah, I got your dad over here.
Cynthia, of course, she's got.
Now we're all absorbed in,
David.
in a little bit of historical reminiscence of,
Okay, I'd like
Up
to
on
say
the
something
dice.
too.
Oh.
About Julie. I first met Julie when I worked for the 3rd District Supervisor's Office, and I was appointed to the Planning Commission in 2007. And I really didn't know anything about land use, and I really relied on the planning department at the county. And at the time, you were working with Eric Shapiro, and I just learned so much from both of you. And you've just always been consistently an advocate for affordable housing, and the community needs more Julies. So thank you.
well, that's really nice.
Thank you for being,
Thank you.
your continued service, even after retirement.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
I'd like to add something. I feel like when you say we need more Julies, in the climate that we see these projects in right now and the energy that comes into these, it's always been this way, but really lately, in the last year or two, it's just been really tense, and you have handled it, just your energy alone, not just your technical skills of being able to manage the meetings, but just your energy is really amazing. And I think that's a gift that we'll really miss. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Timmery. That's really nice. Commissioner Polhemus?
Thank you. I couldn't say nothing. So I still consider myself very new to public service, and I know that when you're new, you do things and you step in mud sometimes, and you're like, ooh, yeah. And so every time that has happened, Julie, I probably called you and just been like, hey, let's bounce some ideas off each other really quick. And I have just learned so much from you. And I just want to say thank you for your patience with me and for just being so willing to share your deep institutional planning knowledge with me, because similarly, when I first joined, I thought I knew more than I did about planning, and got a quick education on that. So I just wanted to say thank you, and for all your years of service before I got here too. So
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That's really nice. Commissioner McKelvey?
I want to second what everyone else has said, but also that I really appreciate that you've reached out to me and personally kind of helped me find my feet with this. And I still feel like I'm very new at it as well, but you made it much easier than it might have been otherwise. So thanks so much, and thanks for all your time, which is way more than I knew, apparently.
Right. It's
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You're very welcome. It's been a real honor. Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you, everybody. What a nice thing to go out with.
What are you going to do on Thursday nights now? Watch the commission meetings?
Probably, yeah. I probably will.
Show up at public comment?
Yep, I'll
Yes.
be here.
Items not on the agenda.
You know I'll be here.
She's going to be the one with the hat and the sign out.
That's right.
Oral communications.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, okay. With that, we will move on to informational items.
Just a few quick updates here. We are expecting a meeting at your next regular meeting on February 6th, and that will be the 313 Swift Street project. That is the teacher housing on Swift Street. And we tentatively have a meeting scheduled for the 20th. It is still TBD. We're working on the environmental impact report for 908 Ocean. And so 220 is still tentative. We have a legislative update going to council, likely that first meeting in February. That's February 11th. If we have a planning commission meeting on the 20th, we will also have that as an informational item. for any questions that the commissioners may have, but we won't have a meeting just for that item. So just for you to plan ahead, that is what is on the agenda and tentative agenda for February. And then another quick update, the council did at their last meeting approve the ADU ordinances, the second reading that you all considered back in November. And I mentioned the legislative update for the next the February 11th meeting. And that is all for now.
Okay. Excellent. And there are no subcommittee or advisory body oral reports, and also no items referred to future agendas. And so with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.